Okay, so the one arm row is a great way for us to work the lat and some of these back muscles and things that retract the shoulder blade. To begin with, we're going to get into an all fours position. So Chris here has got on a bench. You can see she's got the same side knee and hand on the bench, and she's got a nice bit of space between these so as not to cramp herself. If she gets her hand and knee too close together, you put your hand here or your knee there and your hand, this has a tendency to start rounding. It gets harder to get into, can you extend hard for me? Other way. There you go. It can get hard to get into this position. A little bit more space between these points. Push that knee back so that the knee is somewhat underneath the hip and the hand somewhat underneath the shoulder. Creates a nice bit of space for us to hold a neutral position. From here, Chris is going to hold an imaginary dumbbell to begin with, and she's going to let her arm stretch down towards the floor. That gives us a nice stretch through here, provided this spine hasn't changed position. She's then going to, using the imaginary dumbbell, retract and pull back, opening this shoulder up here so that the muscles in between her shoulder blades also get a nice retraction as well as here. It goes down one more time for an imaginary one, stretch without losing spine shape, and then retraction. She grabs a dumbbell now, and we'll go through that same movement. She's going to retract, pulls back. You can see that dumbbell wants to move, and it can go down again, in a straight line from here, and keep going. In a straight line up and down towards the floor. If Chris wants to make this a little bit more challenging from the lat, she can think about pulling her elbow backwards towards her pelvis a little more without doing that. She might need to kick her leg back a bit to create a little bit more space. Good. And then rather than thinking straight up, come back down, she's going to pull her elbow towards here. And she'll find it a little harder, a little lower down in that lat in order to do that. And it goes down. So there's a little angle on that pull, and we create a slightly longer lever length that this is pulling at, or at least where the dumbbell is sitting relative to that. And it can go back down. If she goes in a straight line, we tend to get a little bit more elbow flexion, and it's a little easier. So we place a little more challenge into the arm. By opening this up a little bit more, we create a little more challenge into the lat and a little less in the arm, and that weight gets a bit harder for Chris to work with.